Hey everybody, what's up? Circus here, coming at you with this week's Battle Phase Rewind video. Joining me is Rye, the man that cast the whole thing. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad. We were talking a little bit before the show here, and it's kind of funny. The winner of Battle Phase Monday is it was the same finals as the Battle Phase you did today, right?
Yeah, it's again, it's Ritual Beast Neos, but this time Ritual Beast is what came up on top.
All right. So people are saying the meta's a little stale. I guess I have a hard time arguing that point after the results of Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I think the meta, it's the decks that are in the meta are still right because it's
Right.
we've seen them for like a year. Even though it's just still not exciting to watch. That's all.
Right. All right. So why don't we look at the overall representation in the tournament, see if that's changed at all? No, it's still Neos Invoked up at the top, followed by Element Sabers, Ritual Beast, Shiranui Witchcrafters. This is all stuff we've seen. I'm trying to see anything.
37
Yeah.
invoke decks. That is so many.
Are we? Are we,
That's so many.
do you think we're ever going to see the Invoked engine hit? I mean, it's a big topic a lot in the chat. People are saying, is it going to get hit? You know.
I think that would be worthy of a separate video on its own because we've talked about engines before where the Lightsworn engine, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not worthy investing in the Lightsworn engine, even though it ended up not being such a big deal because things get hit. But meanwhile, invokes so many URs, it's so hard to hit. You know what
Right.
I mean?
It's just
So
running
that could be
rampant in
a
the
topic in the future. Yeah.
it's just running rampant right now,
Yeah,
and
it's
like
pretty
you're
bad.
saying, most of the decks are running that are doing well. So it's interesting to see what Konami's going to do in the future. But down at the bottom, this is where I always like to look: Gem Knights, Cyber Darks,
Yeah.
your
We
friends
actually watched that
Vendreds.
gem knife.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Vendors. We saw a lot of Vendrids actually doing relatively well
Hmm.
these past couple days, but they failed to top. They always like lose their last two games, it seems.
Well, that's usually how it works, right? You lose your last two, and
Yeah.
then you're out.
You're just like, yeah, I'm going in, I'm 3-0, I'm good. Oh, 3-2.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm out.
Luna Lights, we did see them reach into the top 32, didn't we?
We saw two Lunalights hit the top 32.
Nice.
One standard and one with a very interesting spicy deck that I think some people over at DLM concocted. Basically, you play the Callan skill that puts the tuner in the graveyard and then use a trap that summons the tuner to your opponent's side of the field. And there you go. You have things to swing into with your monsters.
Oh, I see. Okay, very
Yeah.
dirty. All right. Well,
So very dirty Lunalights.
why don't we look at the top 32 and see what made it into it? Neos Invoked, not a surprise. Element Sabers, not a surprise.
11 of the 32 decks
Yes,
are invoked.
that's a pretty good conversion rate.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Stromberg though, still
Yeah,
representing. Was that King Krabby?
that was King Crab.
All right. And then Goki graduating into the meta status, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Dragoonity made a run for it, if I remember right.
Dragoonity made it super far. Juked played it this time. He played it without the Hatronade, just the more standard version, just opening up Cosmic Cyclones left and right, double Cosmic into Switcheroo, but just wasn't able to really push it at the end there.
Well, I find it funny. Two Kristrons making it into the top 32. I think Kristrons are doing better now than when they were
Mhm.
tier one for like 6 months.
It's actually what I told people. So today, one of the original like big Chris Run players, Schofield, was playing, and he was playing a level duplication version, not a sea stealth attack version. And in chat, he was telling people that he believes Chris Runs are now at least the level duplication version with Coral Dragon and everything, the one that -1 beats Sun Blue Eyes in at Worlds. He's saying that that's kind of like the new way to beat out witchcrafters. So it's really interesting to see what's happening with Kristrons right now. They're kind of they're going through a little bit of a change, but yeah, they've been winning a lot more now than they have when they were considered to be the best deck in the game.
Right. Yeah. So it's interesting to see how they'll do. When we get down to the top eight and see what actually moved on here, one deck we didn't cover, we'll cover right now. Top eight, Evil Eye with
Yeah.
Kompaku.
He took our advice, said, you know what? I'm not playing Super Heavy Samurai anymore. I'm
Yep.
gonna play a deck that I actually have to learn Duel Links with. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've said it a couple times now. Keep your eye on this deck. You know,
Yep.
it's getting there. I think he's the one. I don't know if it was today or Tuesday, but basically, they summoned their Basilisk into a chain disappearance. So they went from 6 monsters in the deck to 3 monsters.
Oh
in the deck.
no, that's even worse.
like we said before, it's this deck really is suffering
Right.
from like an actual real monster.
Yep.
You know, not just like chain disappearance lose. But hey, it's doing well, especially in this back row heavy meta that we find ourselves in. Storm is amazing right now, so any Storm user is going to be like a good deck.
Did you get to see him play straight flush? I see.
I did not get to see him straight.
In the side deck. I was hoping he'd play.
I keep seeing it here and there. Different people keep citing it, and I never see anyone pull it off.
They're just waiting for that because they're like, I just don't want to get cheesed by arrow mages. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just the arrow mages. The weather painters. Oh, I got something for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving up, Dragoonity, like we said, with Juked. He said it's a little bit different version. We do see him playing those offerings to the Doomed. I would think that would just really hurt their strategy, though, doesn't it? Having to skip that one draw if they're just not getting what they need.
Yeah, I believe this is even Lord of Scrub's build. I think on the last time we went over this, this is pretty much the same one it was. Well, it was an anti-phase. Even the chain disappearance in the main deck, so really made a run for it. Yeah, when eventually he got knocked out, it was literally because he played offerings twice in a row, skipped 2 phases. He had Ascalon up there, but then Ascalon got Fiendish chained, and he couldn't draw for like 2 turns straight. And it was
that's
just
like, okay, suicide.
Now what?
That's just suicide.
At that point, it was just like, all right, game's over.
Yeah.
I don't. It just sucks. Dragoonity. There was no reason to put Lance at 2. I don't know. They really they need Hatrunade and they need Lance. So
Konami's just deathly afraid of OTK decks is all it is. But
yeah.
Black Wings, just let them go.
Nah, they're too expensive to hit.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Dragoonities did nothing wrong.
Back in action in the next top 8 spot is Kawinapai. I love that name. Playing Cyber Dragons.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit newer. He's newer to the community for sure. I don't know if he's newer to Duel Links or not, but I see him talk about like Magic the Gathering and stuff in chat all the time. Pretty standard Cyber Dragons, except for the Autonomous Action Unit.
Yeah, I remember that being played, and you were just like, "What?"
I'm pretty sure this is like one of the first UR cards ever in this game.
Yeah, it was. It was a very early box. Yep.
Yeah, pay 1,500 life, steal a monster from your opponent's grave. That's pretty much what he did.
Which at the time was just like, why would you do that? You know, when the card first came out, you know, what are you stealing? Axe Raider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we saw him do is steal a Temperance. He got the bad flips. All his damage got half, like direct damage got half reduced. So his Cyber Dragon was swinging for 1,000.
Oh no!
Luckily, his opponent had nothing on the board, so that didn't matter. But yeah.
And if you notice in the extra deck, he's playing Cycleroid or Cyroid or Cycleroid or whatever. That thing's great. I'd love to see one of these guys go into it sometimes. They never do.
I did actually see him. He played the Evolution Burst too. Saw him use that as well. Pretty interesting card, although you lose your attacks on Cyber Dragons, specifically Cyber Dragons. But again, you're just mostly swinging with the fusion, so not a big deal.
All right. Now rounding out the top 8, our boy Andy Zhang. What? Only top 8? Shame on you, Andy. But he's playing Witchcrafters. What? I thought this was among the snobby pro elite like Andy Zhang. This was the most hated deck. But we see him and Neg representing it all the time now.
This is like the most aggressive Witchcrafter deck I've ever seen. And if you watch his duels, he was going into Black Rose, OTKing people, turn 2, turn 3 OTK. I was like, what the hell is going on? He's playing Hatrunade in the main deck, obviously going into Econ for decks that don't have any sort of protection. And then Raiko, we actually saw him won so many games where I remember there was one on Heroes. He flips up the Raiko, hits the monster that would have been mask changed. So even though he still got a mask change off, if it did a lot of damage, it wasn't quite lethal. And the next turn, he just follows up with a Black Rose play, if I'm remembering it correctly. So very interesting. I mean, it's a more aggressive variant of Witchcrafter. Ultimately fell to, I don't remember what he fell to, but it was exciting to watch just to finally see the deck kind of take initiative for once instead of constantly stalling out the game. Very exciting.
All right, moving on top 4 here. Chaos Paladin, gotta love that name, was Chaos playing Paladin. E-Sabers. Balance. Look at this dirty ass deck he's playing. 30 cards. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think the game that finally knocked him out, he opened up 1 Malehu and triple back row, which was ultimately his demise. Everyone knows if you play normal E-Sabers, you open Palace Malehu, and that's all you need. So, yeah, we've been seeing a lot of these decks lately go this kind of 30-card heavy trap route. and doing well in Swiss, but ultimately failing when it gets more concise in the top. But it's funny to see. We actually saw today, Battle Phase Pop-Up Tuesday, a Goki Shadow Game Lava Golem invoked 30 card
Oh
stall
my
with 12
god.
traps, and he went undefeated until he finally lost in the top 8, I believe.
What's this guy playing? He's playing 16 traps,
Yeah. Well, one of
6
them's not real.
spells.
That's a fusion reserve, but the rest, yeah.
I mean, man, to figure out the balance on that one, 16 traps.
Yeah, and he definitely messed it up too. So
Oh, it didn't work. It didn't work. Okay.
it worked, but he got like he got one monster, 3 traps, and didn't get the
Oh, the
spells.
spells. Okay.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
was literally just 3 traps. We were questioning it. We're like, I wonder if he did. Nope, he didn't.
Okay. Well, when you go
So
that heavy, I mean, you got to expect it.
yeah, I don't think Balance E Sabers is gonna catch on.
Hey,
I
top
just
4 in a major tournament. That's pretty good.
yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna chalk that up to the back row.
All
That is
right.
quite disgusting. They probably swung in a wall D 20 times.
All right. Also in the top 4 was You Mad with Crystron's here, SSA version.
Yep, so this is the SSA version with the Psychic Wielder.
Mm-hmm.
Super neat. Psychic Wielder pairs really well with the Coral Dragon.
Yep.
You see people play that. Kind of Neg started it. He played that and the Brio, but people kind of started dropping the Brio a little bit. Brio is just super cool because you're able to synchro with him, and you're able to draw if anything happens to him, as well as get that destruction off. So
Did he?
super neat. And then of course Crystron's one of the best discard decks in the game, right? They can discard basically
Mhm.
anything and get advantage out of it.
Did he use the Coral Dragon as a tuner? I don't see anything he could use it for. Or
This version,
no.
no,
Yeah.
but not Francis Schofield today was using level duplication. So he would level dupe his Coral Dragon and then summon something to synchro
Oh, okay.
with it.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you're starting to see a little bit. And this build, yeah, he probably wants to go Brio.
Right. But hey, it works. I love Coral
It works.
Dragon. Not getting enough love yet, but I think it will down the
Yeah.
road. All right, moving up into the finalists. Second place here is MASARIKE, Pro Clapper. Second place with Ritual Beast. This deck really isn't changing a whole lot from the K-Row version.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same K-Row version, very different from the version that we saw today. The version we saw today was a Sealed Tomb variant.
Okay.
More of the old OTK variant, Herald the Abyss in the main deck, with more of like that OTK mindset to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked very well against Neos. So I want to see what happens if people start to go back more towards that instead of this kind of, stall with Shadow Game until you win style.
Inciting Lava Golem because they're just
Inciting
dirty stall players now.
yeah, exactly. And put the wall of D in there.
Yep. Well, one in the main, one in
it's
the side. That's the way it is now.
That's the way you do it. Yeah, I want to see Ritual Beast players maybe potentially look at other options.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Game. The amount of times I've seen Shadow Game kind of recently kill its user because they keep playing against Neos and
Right.
Invoked and all these decks that just outgrind them. Even decks like Witchcrafter who have like a bunch of cards in their graveyard, they still don't care because they're just banishing shit left and right and they're like, whatever, I'm good.
Yep.
So I really want to see Ritual Beast kind of, like obviously it's just one tournament. You got to try it in multiple tournaments to really see how well it works. But this guy said, yeah, I'm not using Shadow Game. Sealed Tomb's the way for me.
All right. Well, we'll see. The deck needs to evolve, but without any new support, I don't really see how.
Yeah.
Maybe a skill change, but I don't think it's going to
And
change
the Ritual
it
Beast
too much.
report is so cancer. I don't think we're going to be seeing that for years.
All right. And the big winner of this one was Jefferson Soares with his version of Volcanic Neos.
Yeah, I mean, it's just same old Neos, except he plays the Ballista Squad in there.
There you go. There's the big probably before the tournament, he was probably in the DLM server talking about how he's got a spicy deck. It's a spicy secret deck.
Oh my god, you won't believe the amount of people that were sitting in chat today saying, "Hey, so and so has an amazing deck. It's so cool. You need to show him on stream." I look at his deck. It's Invoke Neos, but instead of the Karma breaks, he's playing Raigeki, or Karma cuts, he's playing Raigeki.
I know exactly. The same thing happens on anti-phase. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's the same thing. Or this guy playing Rainbow Life.
Yeah.
it's still Neos, and it's still gonna be this like most of the games,
Right.
especially Swiss, is still gonna be the same. The only time you'd see any difference with that 1 or 2 card difference when you get to the top and you're playing, the best players of that tournament, and you're going to the grind game, into the late game, and at that point, no one cares if you reveal that you play Canadia instead.
Right.
It's kind of like, okay.
Well, I'm sure like
All
when
right,
this version came out and you see the volcanic shell, it's like, damn, that's spicy. But then everybody copies it right away and it's no longer spicy,
no longer spicy.
Or when you see someone playing autonomous action unit and then the next week everybody's copying it,
Yeah.
I would say that was a little
no.
spicy, but besides that, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, typical Neos right there.
Yeah, so I think moving forward, we're just gonna kind of be stuck in this meta until I would say at least XYZs, and I think even then, my prediction not gonna affect it too much. You're gonna get some generic XYZs, and we're just gonna still be playing Invoke Neos versus Ritual Beasts.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. There is a mini box that's supposed to be leaked very soon, potentially even releasing within the next week or so.
Land of the Titans 2, I heard it's called.
Land of the Titans 2. Let's go. Yeah, that is the question, though. Is Konami going to release something A, strong before Worlds, and B, strong before XCs that they'll, I mean, if it's strong, they have to nerf it essentially, because then they can't sell their XCs.
Right.
So, it's one of those dilemmas that Konami has to go through. And, especially like as a ban list, even if a ban list happens, would you see invoked on the ban list? That should be a video in itself. How UR cards are kind of protected from the ban list. Essentially, all they can do is limit 3 of them, because that's just the standard that Konami has set for themselves, and why that is good for the game, but also terrible for the game. It's good for your investment, but terrible for the game's competitive meta being involved, continuously evolving. So maybe we'll get together and talk about that sometime if y'all want to see that.
Well, we got videos for days, folks. Don't you worry. Rye's throwing out video ideas in the middle of videos. You gotta love it.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, other than that, a few decks I want to see themselves prove themselves. I'm continuing to look at Evil Eye.
Yep.
It seems to be when it's doing good, it feels super oppressive. But when it does bad, you're just like, wow, you literally.
How are you even here? Yeah, how are you even here?
Do you even run monsters? What is this? And Gokis, I
was going to say, they're clawing and scratching, right, just to stay in there. They're like, we got up here, we want to stay.
And it's not that they're entering and doing bad; they're just not even entering anymore.
Right?
It's like, where are you guys? What are you doing? Why is this guy playing 30-card Invoke Goki Lava Golem and winning?
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out what the next step is for their deck. You got to constantly be innovating. And when you get to that point, we're like, I think we could put Invoked into this. You're like, okay, we're out of ideas.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yep, all right, we've reached that point. Next is Neos. Let's go.
Invoked is either your first idea for a deck or your last resort for a deck.
Oh, this deck has water and fire?
Invoked, yeah, definitely. Oh, it's got graveyard potential? Lightsworn, All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. I hope you liked the video. And if you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. Make sure you get in the Discord, because that's where we announce all the tournaments, and they're always free to play for the first 172 people. And after that, if you're a sub on Twitch, you can get in no matter what. Also, check out Gamersupps with the link below. Use the code DLE, and you can get 10% off. So that's about it for this video. We'll see you next time. I'm Circus, and that's Rye.
Farewell, YouTube.
Yeah.